I thought it was worth noting that, you know, elections are crazy. Anyway, welcome to Perpetual News. Today we're going to be reacting to this video by CNN. It got a lot of clicks. It got recommended to me a few times, and I was like, I might as well check it out. So yeah, we're going to be reacting to this why 0.008% of the U.S. population might determine the election. Before we watch this video, I haven't seen it yet. I just want to say that I imagine this video is talking about Pennsylvania. That is what my prediction is. Maybe not, though. They might be talking about Omaha. That could also be what they're talking about. It actually makes more sense than it might be Omaha. And that is Nebraska's 2nd district, if you don't know. They split their state up into different districts and assign electoral values based on that. Anyway, let's watch the video, yeah.
In 2020, Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by a seemingly huge margin.
Not really.
306 electoral college votes
not
to
that big.
232.
Go
But
look
let me
at
show you how shaky
1984
that lead
if you think
really
that's
was.
big.
16 of those votes in Georgia that went to Biden, look how that race went. 2.47 million to 2.46 million. That's a difference of just 11,779 votes. Meaning, if half that number, 5,890 people, switched from Biden to Trump, all 16 of those electoral college votes would have gone to Trump as well. And this gets crazier. Arizona was similar, razor-thin margins. Biden won by 10,457 votes. So, if 5,229 of those people decided to change their mind, Trump would have taken all of Arizona's 11 electoral college votes. Finally, look at Wisconsin. Biden won by almost 21,000 votes. If 10,342 Biden supporters changed their votes to Trump, Wisconsin's 10 electoral college votes would have gone to Trump as well.
Yeah.
So what's the point of this mental math? Well, if those roughly 20,000 people across 3 states changed their votes, handing Trump those 37 electoral college votes, suddenly we end up in the absurd and almost unprecedented outcome of a perfect tie. 269 to 269.
It won't work out that way in 2024.
The House of Representatives decides who wins. And it gets a little complicated, but one possible outcome of that vote is that Donald Trump becomes president for a 2nd term. All thanks to 21,461 voters in a country of more than 330 million people.
Okay.
That, my friends.
So he's not talking about either of the things that I'm talking about. But anyway, 2024 is going to be a little different. Electoral college has been changed. The 2020 census changed it. The 2020 census went into effect after the 2020 election. So the electoral college is a little bit different. For instance, Illinois lost a delegate. Wisconsin lost a delegate. Or no, Wisconsin kept all theirs. Pennsylvania lost a delegate. Florida gained 2. New York lost 2. California lost 1. I don't know. There's some others. Anyway.
Is swing state math. And it's why Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have spent so much time in the 7 battleground states.
Hello, Pennsylvania. How are we doing?
Pennsylvania, folks.
I thank you, North Carolina. We're going to get this done.
That could determine the outcome of the election this November. So let's get really specific about how pollsters predict which states will be key battlegrounds. Here's a map of the U.S. Most of these states have clear enough voting patterns that it would be a surprise if they stepped wildly out of line. Like with California. The joke is that Democrats could run a cardboard cutout there and still probably win. In all, they likely start with 226 electoral college votes in the bag. That's not far off from the 270 needed to win. But
hold on. Why the fuck is Maryland gone?
Okay. On the other side, a huge swath of the country, this Republican
belt
is solidly red. That gives Republicans 219 electoral college votes that they can count on, which leaves these 7 states, where the margins between victory and defeat are so thin. In 2020, less than 3 percentage points separated the winner from the loser in each case, and each outcome was a major show-stopping headline.
Joe Biden, your projected winner in the state of Arizona.
The Associated Press has just called Wisconsin for Joe Biden.
Joe Biden has won Michigan and gets the 16 electoral votes.
And here's where each side can get really strategic, because you don't need to win all 7, or even the majority of swing states in order to win the election. Either side can win with as few as 3 of these swing states. In Trump's case, there's only one way to do this. If he wins Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia, the 3 biggest, most valuable swing states. If he doesn't win exactly those 3 states, he'll need at least 4 of the swing states to snatch back the presidency, or else he'll need to generate another surprise elsewhere on the map. Meanwhile, there are several combinations of 3-state victories that give Harris the win. But that's just a mathematical look at the swing state paths to victory. Here are the most plausible paths for Kamala Harris and Donald Trump.
The most straightforward way for her to get elected is still to carry Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and the 1 congressional district in Nebraska.
Omaha, bitch.
Votes for Democrats. That would put her at exactly 270.
I think her
It's
strategy
pretty
is going to
safe
be to try to
Democrat at this
gain
point.
Sunbelt states and states like Arizona and Georgia.
For Donald
Terrible
Trump,
take.
their path is to hold North Carolina, try to flip Georgia or Arizona or Nevada, and then run the table in the Rust Belt.
And then to rely on those white, rural, working-class voters in Michigan, in Wisconsin, and in Pennsylvania.
And worth pointing out, if either candidate wins any 5 of the 7 swing states, and they hold on to every other state they're expected to, that's enough. That gets either one across the 270 electoral college vote finish line.
Okay.
So easy, right? You just have to win somewhere between 3 and 5 of the swing states, hold the other 20 or so states that everyone just expects you to hold on to, and you're golden. Well, each swing state is different. Different issues, different geography, different voters. Pennsylvania is a great example of that. It's where Harris began a 5-day battleground tour, announcing Tim Walz as her vice president.
Good evening, Philadelphia!
Just about every major news organization has put Pennsylvania in must-win territory. It's the most valuable of the battleground states, worth 19 electoral college votes.
There is just going to be an enormous amount of campaign activity taking place in Pennsylvania. Whoever carries Pennsylvania is very likely to be the next president.
And it's a big part of why...
Let's clarify that statement. If someone loses Pennsylvania, like Pennsylvania's called early for some reason, it will not be. It's over. Like that. That's it. Pennsylvania is the most important state by far. Like, if you could put it on a graph, I would say Pennsylvania number 1, Michigan number 2, Georgia number 3, right? And the rest of them are very important, but definitely not as important as those 3. Pennsylvania is like miles above the next highest, which is
Trump
Michigan.
won in 2016. He cracked Pennsylvania along with Wisconsin and Michigan, part of this impenetrable blue wall of states that have been reliably Democrat for decades. Biden took all 3 states back in 2020, but keep in mind, he's also from there. Biden drew often on his Pennsylvania upbringing while he was campaigning.
Scranton's not my home because of the memories it gave me. It's because of the values it instilled in me.
But Harris doesn't have that same edge, and polling suggests she's weak with working class men. Striking the right balance, winning over voters in big cities and rural areas alike, will be key in the Keystone State.
It's an unusual state because it's so large that it has very distinct regions with very distinct political cultures.
It's a state that shows a little bit of everything in the United States and reflects a lot of the sharp divisions that we have.
In Wisconsin, once upon a time, this was shaping up to be a battle for 3. And it still might be. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had fought to get his name on the ballot in this state, and he succeeded. Problem is, he's since thrown his support behind Donald Trump, and this is one state where he now can't seem to get his name off the ballot, which could be confusing for voters. Michigan and North Carolina, he has managed to pull out. But speaking of North Carolina, it's the only swing state this time around that Trump actually won in 2020, so it's a key hold.
North Carolina is the one that gets away from Democrats every 4 years.
But the margin of victory last time around was only about 1 percentage point. And Democrats do hope
It
that
was
this will be the
1.4. Don't
Georgia
give them more
of
credit.
2024, meaning a state that has a decades-long, almost uninterrupted Republican history, but that could be a dramatic and consequential flip if other swing states go Trump's way.
If we win this,
If Democrats win North Carolina quite early, the election is over. That's it. Plain and simple. They need North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, which I think right now are all locks. Well, sorry, not North Carolina. Michigan and Wisconsin are locks for the Democrat. If they just win North Carolina, they don't make it. They're off by like 4 points. But if they win Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, anything, they just need one more besides North Carolina. But they don't even need North Carolina. I'm just saying, if North Carolina goes blue, North Blairolina, if you will, then it's over. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be the most furthest right-leaning state, I imagine. That's a tilt state, you know. I don't know.
Nevada, it's over for them.
Nevada had a sluggish post-COVID recovery and has among the worst unemployment rates in the country.
Yeah.
Michigan has the country's largest proportion of Arab Americans, a demographic whose support of Biden took a hit as the U.S. stood steadfastly by its ally, Israel, during the ongoing war in Gaza. In Georgia, black voters make up roughly a third of the state's population, easily the biggest black voting bloc in any of the 7 battleground states.
Black voters are among the most loyally Democratic voters in American politics. And a lot of the growth of the city of Atlanta has been amongst black voters.
And Arizona, the Grand Canyon state. Trump has a big advantage here.
Arizona is a border state, which means it feels the effects of immigration firsthand.
Trump has repeatedly attacked Harris over the country's illegal immigration crisis. And
Once
he's
again,
vowed
she
to
has
carry
nothing
out
to do with that,
the
but
largest deportation operation in American history. All of this adds up to a very eclectic range of issues that each presidential hopeful will try to master over the next 2 months. The good news for them is that they don't need to figure it all out. They just need the right handful of voters in the right states at the right time.
Very true. Very true. That's a good, solid way of thinking about things. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Welcome back to Perpetual News, obviously, all that. Hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.